Hey folks, I'm Serious JG and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIII-2. Let's see what the story so far might be. Oh, it's going to automatically save performance.
Final Fantasy XIII-2. The story so far.
13-2?
No Christ.
Oh, I guess we don't get anything until we
But I want to see lightning so much.
head out of this new zone on a portal. No, what's your deal, dude? So even though we defeated Atlas, we don't get to see that until we actually pick a portal and get out of here. And then... Ooh, you now have the access to close gate option. Item known as gate seals allow you to close selected space-time locations within the story crux and reset a part of the history. You can close gate and watch as events or rewind to a point before any artifacts were obtained. Use this option to solve past mysteries once more, or to undo any mistakes that may have been made. Note that using this option will not cause you to lose any fragments or key items. Press it again to select open gate and restore history for the location you have reset. So this gets involved with figuring out paradox endings.
Rejecting the easy path.
Yeah, rejecting the easy path. Rejecting the easy path. The unknown British narrator is not Vanille or Fang. But you think Vanille or Fang could do this part? That doesn't sound like Vanille or Fang. What am I doing? You think since we got nothing else to do, we could narrate these little sections again? I mean, here we are stuck in the crystal pillar with nothing else going on.
That's right. Why aren't we narrating any of this stuff? Yeah, but even Lightning could take a break from letting us narrate once in a while. And where the hell is Az? And where's Hope?
Snow and lightning really should be part of Serah's day-to-day life. So they have to comment on the fact that they're gone. But Saz and Hope are just kind of like, who knows? Alright, let's see what happens. Use an eclipse artifact to activate the gate and step into the flow of time? Sure. Erase memory of film from mankind's shared consciousness? Yes.
Yes. Yes, it worked.
Popo.
Serah, you okay?
Popo. It's nothing. I'm fine, really. Just tired, I guess.
Right. Somehow I kind of doubt it's nothing.
I think you're a lying whore. How dare you suffer some kind of physical discomfort, bitch? And then lie about it. I don't know.
We unraveled the paradox and continued on to another time, another place.
We ended up in another world
But
story.
why had these gates appeared? Who had tangled the timelines?
World
And for
Story,
what
excuse me.
purpose? We still didn't know.
It's you.
Why
You
am I
guys did
able
it.
to fix these temporal anomalies?
And why is there a
Bend monsters to my will?
treasure chest there that JG clearly
Why
should
do
have
I have
found?
this power at all? I'll keep traveling with Noel, knowing that we'll find you eventually. So Lightning,
Yeah, pretty clearly missed a
You're
treasure
watching.
chest there.
do what you can to guide us to your side.
Could be an iron bangle in there. Pretty cool,
I
huh?
hope we land right in the place where Lightning is waiting.
Right in her lap.
Where do you think we'll end up this time? The future? The past?
Probably
no
one of those
idea.
two.
With all
Possibly the
this
present.
jumping back and forth, I'm not sure I know which is which anymore.
You've been to one place.
But the
Well,
past
two,
is
I
what
guess,
makes
for
us
him.
who we are. Defines us as people. The future that we're aiming for, that's the thing we can change.
Well, we can change the past too. Revisionist
No
history.
matter how bad things have been. Without that past, I wouldn't be who I am now.
That makes sense.
Like people who talk about how
So Sarah, you shouldn't feel like you're
McCarthy
wasting
had
your
some really
time.
good ideas
Even
and
if we
actually
don't
did a lot
arrive
of
in
good. Like
Valhalla,
you'll
there's still
occasionally read
value in
articles
every
like
path
that,
we take.
and you'll be horrified.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But hey, I won't complain if we do end up there. All this running around is exhausting.
All this flipping around.
Hey, make up your mind.
Just be honest with yourself. If you are, you'll be sure to arrive in the future you want.
Be honest about the fact that you want me and are tired of snow. So they both had good
Serah.
answer.
Forgive me.
Oh, innocent one.
That was a past you never should have had to deal with.
You shouldn't have found out how ugly the Protheans truly are. You
But
should have been
now,
allowed to
because of
believe they
your
were great.
courage, the timelines have one less knot to unravel.
The dawn knots, yes,
If I
sir.
could, I would thank you for what you have accomplished. But I can't. Not just yet.
Okay, now I can. Thank you for what you have accomplished. I had to wait for 1 second. We've unlocked a new location, XIII-2. So up to this point, it's been all new maps. Now we begin to recycle maps from Final Fantasy XIII. Oh, game.
Human society continues to develop.
Who's that?
Machines once run by
Hey,
the
wait,
Fal'Cie
she looks familiar.
are now powered by human technology, driving
Driving
progress
their
is
energy
the
out of
Academy,
human
which has
slaves.
grown to take a leading role in affairs of state. Under its young leader, the Academy is working to solve the paradoxes that warp the surrounding space-time. At the heart of the distortions is the Yasha's Massif, its skies darkened by a perpetual eclipse.
It sure looked like Alyssa is hanging around in XIII-2 in the year 10 as fuck, but looks exactly the same as she did in the year 5 as fuck. Now, considering that they tend to throw teenagers at you in these games, maybe she's older than she looks. Like, the difference in your appearance from 25 to 30 is not as stark as the difference in your appearance from 15 to 20. Or even from 20 to
People always
25.
say, the future
Maybe she's
will
in her
be better.
70s.
They believe the hardships of the present fade with the passage of time.
Those
And
fools.
so we hope, waiting for a future brighter than today. But Serah, remember this.
I'm a conservative. I think the past is better.
As you walk towards a brighter tomorrow, you have to look back to your past. The path you have walked to reach the here and now will give you the courage you need to hope.
Ugh. Oh, we're all glowy. Oh, no, we're not.
It's so dark.
In ancient times, the Fal'Cie devoured the light, darkness cloaked the sky, and the earth knew.
Are you sure it's not just
This must be
nighttime?
the eclipse.
It could just be
You know
nighttime.
what this is?
It's the
They
eclipse. It has
said
said that.
500 years ago, a massive Fal'Cie appeared. For a while, it blotted out the sun and turned everything dark.
If that happened 500 years in your past, then this must be 200 years in my future.
Right.
You can do
Something's
math.
wrong. Look, the eclipse is only affecting this
Besides, it's
small
only supposed to be
area.
10 as
That
fuck.
shouldn't
The
be possible.
game told us that.
Okay, so you're saying this could be a paradox.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything's a paradox. That's pretty much how this is going to work. You know what's great about these paradoxes? We don't need any story logic at all. No story logic is
This
required.
reminds
We
me
can
of
just do
stories
whatever the
I've
fuck we
heard
want
that
and
there
call it
used
a
to be a great
paradox.
city on Grand Pulse. I bet this is what these ruins are.
What happened to it?
No one's been able to figure that out. We were more or less locked up inside Cocoon. We never had much opportunity to learn about the world below us. Our
Yeah, you're just
scientists have
lazy.
only just begun to study the mysteries of Grand Pulse.
We've only just begun. We got a metal armband. Great. Suppose it could be seeing if there's better gear they should be equipping. These things cost 55, so they're right out. These do resistance and whatever. I don't actually have that much more to do. I realized I have sort of an interim save where I've done some leveling up, but not all of the leveling up. I just got to kind of finish exploring most of this zone, and we can get to a point where I've at least got us powered up somewhat to where we're tough enough to handle what's coming. Hey, buddy, what's your deal? Why are you standing out here by yourself, rubbing your neck, staring out at nothing?
Hello, are you here to observe the facility? I can answer any questions you might have.
Ah, yeah,
A
perfect.
tour
I
guide?
do have some questions. Where are we? And what year is it?
Wait, you can't just...
What? I'm just...
Yasha's Massif, 10 AF.
10 as fuck, sir.
10 AF? So nowhere near 200 years.
Why does she care if he makes
I
an ass
must
of
say,
himself?
this is the first time anyone asked me what year it was. I don't suppose you happen to be time travelers?
Well, Cooper?
Ah, yes, I almost forgot.
Ah, yes.
I'm supposed to
I
hand
almost
out
forgot.
this
That
map.
scene faded out
Take
for
it,
no
it's free.
reason, and now we're still having a scene. I guess the writers just didn't feel like filling in the gap between you not answering my question and me giving you a map. Consider it a temporal paradox. What's the point of them making you acquire the map as an item if they're just going to, pretty consistently, the first NPC you encounter just shoves a map in your face? Oh, well. The little barefoot logo next to explored 6% there.
Keep your wits about you. There's no telling what kind of monsters the paradox has let loose in here.
Monsters.
You said the paradox. Are you talking about the eclipse?
No, shut up.
The great Fal'Cie, Fenrir, blocked out the sun.
We don't know
It
that's
was
called
predicted
Fenrir.
he
We
would
named it
appear
that, of course.
200 years from now.
Well, who
Which
predicted
means-
that, and why, and
which
how?
means His appearance now indicates some sort of time distortion, right?
Why? How would they be able to predict that in 200 years a Fal'Cie named Fenrir would appear? Okay, we've established that there is some big Fal'Cie that blocks out the sun that was 500 years in Noel's past. And he's aware of it because it's part of history. But now it's just like, it's here now instead of in the year 200. There must be a paradox. But now this guy's like, oh yeah, that's not supposed to happen for 200 years. Even though it's never happened for me. Like, why do I think it happens in 200 years? I have no idea. Paradox, paradox, paradox. Nanomachines. The appearance of time gates, the Fal'Cie wanted to meet you, a Fal'Cie invasion, or a miscalculation. The Fal'Cie wanted to meet you. Why not?
The Fal'Cie arrived 200 years early to meet with a certain someone. Yes, sir, that someone is you.
So this entity crossed the boundaries of time and space just to meet with me? I suppose I can't discount the possibility.
Yeah, please discount it and find a sense of humor.
Okay, I don't know if I gained or lost rewards by that. Goofy answer to that question means I get fewer or more dumbass accessories to put on my monsters' heads. So essentially, I want to explore all this area until we're about to enter the ruins there. I actually recognize this from Final Fantasy XIII. That's the city of Padra. That's where you fight Vercingetorix. But if I explore all of this, and then I should be able to load a game where we are significantly more powerful than we are now, with a lot more monsters at our disposal, even though we aren't going to be using the vast majority of them. But I want to explore here and make sure we catch any cinematics that are going to happen, as though we were seeing them for the first time. No idea what the purpose of all that was, except that it's paved paradise put in a parking lot.
The sun's disappearance is no need for panic. It's our job as scientists to figure out what's behind this mystery.
And it is, of course, the end of all things.
On sunny days, I can't help but wish I didn't have to be at work. I suppose that's not an issue anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sure. But yeah, why is that stuff down there? Well, because that was part of a map from a previous game where that might have actually had some point to it. Or perhaps it didn't have a point to it even in the previous game.
I am not an outdoors kind of person.
Are you also with having bare legs? No, you're wearing some kind of hose or pants. Like, there's a lot of women in ultra short skirts going on in this game.
Time. I can't deal with this.
We are gonna get jumped by you guys. Damn, I was really trying not to encounter them. They're pretty weak. There's not a whole lot of point to fighting them. I mean, we'll capture them for our party and then never use them. There's an enemy that looks very similar to them with a different name that has a passive ability where if they're in your party when you win a battle, you get extra gold drop. Like, you get more gold to drop from enemies. Because in this game, enemies do drop gold, unlike the last game, which was a little bit more realistic about that. There's a lot of little changes between the two games. Random encounters being a thing, enemies dropping gold. They took some things that made Final Fantasy XIII kind of unique away. Not everything about Final Fantasy XIII was terrible. And one of the things that big change is that even though the maps are usually fairly small, and it is really a series of vaguely connected little quests, you have some ability to do things in different orders. For example, we hopped into a gate and came here, but there was actually two gates, if you will recall. One sort of to the south. We could have gone there first and done that section of chapter story. So they tried really hard to make this game a lot less linear than Final Fantasy XIII was. But the fact that combat is consistent in large part of auto battle, they did not change. Searchlights. The behemoths prowling in the darkness of Yasuf Mashif have a strong aversion to light. If you encounter one of these dangerous beasts, run to the nearest patch of light to return the mod clock to a safe state. Once the mod clock is green, it's time to plan your next move. Monsters will not appear if you stay within the roving searchlight beams. Try to figure out the safest route and avoid confronting a behemoth. Basically, they're saying there are enemies in this area, behemoths, that are more powerful than we can handle. Well, that's only true if you don't power level. But in this case, we did not power level.
Along the path of the searchlight. Most monsters hate light and will do anything to avoid it.
But my sister's named Light. Do monsters hate her? I would, however, like to encounter behemoths just so we can see what kind of chance we'd have against one. They have a very high encounter rate along here, as in nothing else really seems to come to attack here. So Noel almost got taken out with one hit. And yeah, we're pretty much doomed. This is not gonna work. Because it was able to one-hit our monster, and it almost one-hit Noel. Yeah, he will definitely one-hit kill her.
What's wrong?
Went wrong? Didn't you mean to say what went wrong? So they're giving you a tutorial that basically says sometimes you need to avoid combat. So we will avoid combat until I've explored the area, and then I'm going to load a state where not only are we powerful enough to defeat behemoths, but I've been grinding against them because they have they drop a good amount of CP for this stage of the game. This only seems reasonable. Oh, I'm in the spotlight. That's what they said you have to do. Alright. I mean, the safe thing to do would probably be to try to make sure I find all the dialogue there is to be found. And then, and from there, switch over to the party that is powered up. Minimize the amount of running around we're doing. Chocobo Kalina.
The scientists are so passionate about their work. They're working just as hard as ever, even in the dark.
It's pretty
Speaking
disgusting.
of passionate, I'm the most passionate person I know when it comes to making a living.
Other people
And on
just
that note,
roll over
please
and die.
peruse my passionately promising pick of pieces.
Passionately promising pick of pieces. Well, we can't really afford it, but we could buy better weapons. We will be able to afford it once I load. But as you can see, she's selling a lot more stuff now. She's selling the next level of... well, instead of selling just potent droplets and potent bolts, she's now selling the power, mana, and vitality versions, which give you bonuses to power, mana, and vitality only, instead of small bonuses to everything, as Potent does. But that's actually still only the first level components. She's selling a silver bangle, which increases maximum something, but it requires a molted tail. Now we're getting to stuff where to buy it, you need not just cash, but you also, like, the delicate iron bangle is an iron bangle with the Seath's tier, or 2 Seath's tier, and the durable version has molted tails. And the difference is, the delicate versions use fewer. That quote cost is not the cash price, that's the number of equipment points you need. So they have ones where you only need 25 points to equip this, so you could equip 2 of them with the 50 points we currently have. And then the durable one, I think, actually costs a little bit more, but it has a higher percent that it does. Und so weiter.
I know it's a little dark in here, but I paid my electric bill, I swear.
You're traveling through space and time and cracking jokes about electric bills. I do not know what your deal is.
The food is so much better than on.
So the food is apparently better here than on Cocoon, and that's a big deal to these people. I guess it seems fair. Well, got caught off guard, but at least this isn't actually the enemy type that had been freaking murdering us. I'm rather anxious to just clear this bit of area here so that we can switch to a different, whole different thing, I guess is what I'm getting at. A whole different thing. I need to heal up a little bit just to make sure that we win. I don't want to lose at this point. It'd be kind of ridiculous. Killed it before we could even stagger it. Just this little resting pose every battle. And we actually got a monster crystal. Kind of don't care. When we load, we will have captured every monster available up to this point in the game, including a few that we didn't even encounter while running around randomly. So that path to the south is blocked off. I don't know how permanent that is. That little area up sort of directly southeast of Chocobocolina there. I don't know how to get there, and I don't know if we're meant to be able to get there now. I'm just going through here trying to make sure we don't miss any dialogue that is different the first time you encounter it. Okay, so that monster's not going to leave me alone. Just need to finish it off. Or them off. It's annoying. I am slamming buttons trying to get it to go faster. That does not actually do anything, and I know this. Staggered just in time to die. So, the way the game mechanics work, and I actually didn't understand this all that well when I played through Final Fantasy XIII, but the Ravager attacks of Serah and Noel are what is driving up the stagger meter. The commando attacks of our monster Uridimu are stopping the stagger meter from draining really rapidly. We did not get anything from that battle. Oh well.
There are 2 questions. Why is the eclipse happening now? And why is it happening right over these ruins?
Well, that Falsey wants to meet that one guy. We already said this. Your memories are off. Something in the ruins. Boredom. And otherworldly invasion. Let's just go with boredom.
Oh, the Falsey was feeling bored. It was like, I think I'll try making just this part dark and see how it looks. Or something like that.
Oh, the Falsey was bored. It's a cute idea, but I kind of doubt it.
Dummy.
Is there
area is closed off because of the powerful paradox effect.
Big
We
parent
don't
burger.
know much yet, but we do know it's dangerous.
So stay away.
I recommend the Padra ruins to visitors. They are at the top of the hill over there.
They are literally the only place you can go. Oh, she actually did have more to say.
The areas that are closed off are rumored to encompass considerable spatial distortions. I recommend the
Yeah, she actually had more stuff to say. I'm surprised. I hope I noticed this in my off-screening. Guess we'll have to check and see how important it is. And see if it's worth checking for. Pearl necklace. Not really worth worrying about that much. Impressive. Most impressive. So those ladies are impressed. Suitably impressed. But I'm going to exit the game and load a different slot where we should be at a, like, right here story-wise. I might have finished the Zaz and Lightning DLCs at this point, so you'll see things in the paradigm that I haven't actually showed you how you get them. I was planning on doing a bunch of story stuff and then going back and redoing doing those DLCs and showing you how you get Zaz and Lightning to be monsters fighting in your party. So no dialogue from them. They do not act like they're part of the story. They're just monsters fighting with you.
Kupo!
Kupo, bitches!
We have to figure out the labyrinth.
Kupo.
You'll be sure to arrive in a future you want.
Kupo.
This must be the eclipse.
You know what this is?
And there we go. Yeah, we definitely have Zaz and Lightning in our party paradigm now. And you'll see, I don't remember exactly how many hit points we had, but now Noel has almost 3k and Serah has over 2k, and they both have... Yeah, they've got all of the rolls. They are significantly more powerful at this point. Tell you what we'll do on this before we call it a video. We will go and encounter a. We will go fight a behemoth, so you can see how easily the behemoth goes down, and compare that to how difficult it, how it just like wiped the floor with us before. And then we'll call it a video, so that next time we can go into the Padra ruins, which is where the story wants us to go. So we're actually pretty close to that zone anyway. Or actually, we're in that zone. So let's try to encounter a behemoth. And we'll see whether we can defeat it now. We've got Lightning in her, like, crazy garb from the beginning of the game, not her garb from the last game. It is also possible to get that Lightning working for you as a Ravager. So I'll show how you get them later, but just for the heck of it. Yeah, you got Zaz. You can give Zaz a Newsboy cap, crystal, a clover. Apparently I missed a bunch of stuff, like, or maybe he's not allowed to wear certain ones, like the tattoo. But yeah, you can also give that kind of goofy stuff to Lightning. They are DLC characters. You have like a special DLC game that you play. Zaz's is mostly like it's set in a casino and you do like gambling mini games. Lightning's is more of a kind of standalone boss fight that you can fight. I'll showcase both of them, but you'll notice he's got like 1,200 hit points, which is even less than Serah and Stud have now. She has almost 8,000, and that's before I've been able to do anything to level her up. Meanwhile, the Pulse Knight, who I'm using as my Sentinel on this particular thing, we fought a few of these, never got it to drop. It's got like 2,000 hit points. So lightning is extremely powerful early on, but you're really meant to be using her after you've already won the game. So she's not powerful enough by herself to break the game. No monster that you're going to get in your party is probably going to break the game, but she's certainly more powerful than anything else that we'd be using at this point as a commando.
You'll find some of the Academy's higher-ups visiting the ruins. I heard a rumor that an incredible discovery was made at the Padra ruins a short while ago. That building over there is part of the Padra ruins. You should take a look around if you have the time. The Padra ruins are the focus of the Academy's.
Surprised at how much these guys have to say.
You'll find some of the...
Alright.
It's night all the time.
This sucks. What the hell, man? Oh, man. I have to fight this guy. And now we don't get a... It'll take a little bit longer because we don't have haste applied. But we're still just going to crush this thing. No, 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 no. You see how much less damage it did, too. So yeah, we're a lot more powerful at this point. Alright, I guess maybe I'll just show off the monsters real quick. So I basically captured all the monsters that are available as random encounters up to this point. Other than Zaz and Lightning, who we acquired from DLC, we got the Pulse Knights. You saw me fight those. I don't even remember where we fought these. These might have been actually in New Bottom. These guys are in New Bottom, and they're the big versions of those little weird... These are the tiny ones. These are the big ones. I mean, these are the big ones. We got these little guys. This is the guy that we were using before I loaded the game, because he was just the best one we'd happen to come across randomly. We've got a couple of little palette swap guys that are all Ravagers. We have Spice Sicilians and Tabasco Toads, were monsters we were fighting in New Bottom. And this Zwerg Scandroid, the Pulse Soldier. This is, when I load again, even farther, this thing is going to be my my Sentinel, because I will have gotten this thing's resist damage plus 5% and HP plus 25. Feed it into this thing, which is capable of leveling up higher. This thing levels up once and then maxes out. This thing can continue to level. So I fed its best passive skills and some of its active skills, captured several of them, fed them into a Pulse Soldier. So it's my Sentinel when we load the game again, and it has significantly more hit points than this guy does. We got Kate Sith again, Dendro Bloom, which I fought this thing, like I said, 30 times before it dropped a crystal, but on screen, like the first time we actually finished a battle with them, it dropped. Hoplite, I managed to avoid fighting these guys, but you saw some of them up here. They just weren't really worth the effort. Cannon fodder. Albino Lobo, which is kind of a rare drop in the Brescia ruins after you defeat Atlas. According to the strategy guide, this is a good monster to be using at this point, if you accept that I've got the DLC ones. Spherog, this is another really rare encounter. It only starts happening after you defeat Atlas. I fought quite a few of these before they finally dropped one. And they were kind of like mini-boss-like difficulty at that point. So it's kind of strange. I spent a lot of time getting it, but you'll probably never actually see it again. Amano Jakku. This is an interesting one. I had spent a lot of time fighting it, capture it, and then I had to go recapture it because of a little trick that I'll show you later, where leveling monsters up and then infusing them into other monsters. The monster that gets infused, there is like an invisible tracker of how many levels worth of monsters of different classes have been fed to it. Because like for a... this one must have some kind of passive ability I wanted. Oh, I think I was leveling this up as a synergist and feeding it to Zaz. But yeah, like, for example, Commandos are considered the opposite of Ravagers, Sentinels considered the opposite of Medic, Synergist is considered the opposite of Saboteur. So if you feed 100 levels worth of saboteurs into your synergist, you unlock a secret synergist skill, and that's the only way to unlock it. So I did have some enemies, or some guys, like, in order to level up, give my Sentinel a special skill, I had to level up a bunch of medics, and I went with Kate Sith, because that's the only one available at this point. Leveled it up as far as I could, fed it to my Pulse Soldier, and then grinded against an area where those dropped until I got another one. And you'll see that in my next save slot. I've got special skills unlocked for a few monsters that I plan to actually use. Got another one of those guys. Now we got our Ravager, or our Commando Behemoth. This is the enemy that was giving us so much trouble earlier in the video. Now it's on our side. Spiranthes, I think. I don't know what to make of those. There's a couple of enemies. I've never used these guys. These two guys show up as an encounter in this area. It's a pretty rare encounter. You'll have seen us fighting enemies that look like this in the last game, so I'm not going to bother to track them down. But yeah, you can find them, you can fight them. Mandrake that had been showing up and giving us some trouble. Trouble only in the sense that it wouldn't let me just do my plot dialogue without fighting it first.
Once you get used to it, life unfolds in the bed.
So this is it. Next time, folks, we will go into this zone, and we will have dialogues and plot stuff will occur. I'm the Mysterious JG. I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more of Final Fantasy XIII-2. Bye-bye.